Two-man game, TMG, get the news fast, AMG, game of two boxes. Name two boxers that hit as hard as this. Yeah, we're cutting to the truth, no, there ain't no narrative. Eyes up on the cup this year, hear the stadium erupt this year. For my team, TMG.
My time of the year.
How hard do you work at this all?
I was doing like 10-hour days, man.
Wow.
I used to do like 8 to 4, but of that 8 to 4, we only work like 3 hours a day.
Two-man game, TMG.
Get
the news
working on the
fast,
pod.
AMG.
I do 10
Game
hours
of two
anyway.
boxes.
pod.
Name
Yeah.
two
Instagram,
boxes that hit as
Follow-
hard as
follow
this.
us, get up on
Yeah, we're
Insta.
cutting to the truth.
Reels.
No, there ain't no narrative. Eyes up on the cup this year, hear the stadium erupt this year. For my team, TMG.
Welcome to another episode of Two-Man Game.
TMG. Shout out to New Styles, my guy. The vocals every single damn time.
I love the tune, man. Gets me ready. I know what it is. It's every
Gets me
Tuesday.
pumped, gets me amped.
Every Tuesday night. That's my Champions League music.
You know, it gets the hairs at the back of my neck standing up like it did this past weekend.
What did you do this past weekend?
For multiple reasons. Obviously, you had the Canelo fight, you had the Manchester derby. I think you even had the Milan derby as well.
And you won 3-2 on the weekend.
We won 3-2, beat top of the league.
That's my league.
Yeah, well, not top of the league. The team that won they are top of the league actually. They won the league like 3 times in a spin.
I know you guys will guess.
It's, you know, it's what we do.
Normal.
What we do.
Was it normal?
What we do.
Oh, the win free, the champions ones that you beat on the weekend.
They apparently won the league 3 times.
Yeah, I can't lie to you. That's why when you said you beat them, I just didn't want to downplay your team. But well done, bro. Well done.
Yeah, agenda on the
So
weekend.
the disclaimer, I had probably my worst technical game I've ever had in a long time. I gave it away so many
They're
times.
just so self-critical.
I was playing like Russell Westbrook. Hard work.
Oh, don't slander.
It doesn't really work hard per se on the
Don't
defense
slander
end.
Russell
Better
Westbrook.
energy, like the second goal we scored, I tackled the guy.
McTominay then. Put his on
That's
McTominay.
tackle the guy, put it through, but I gave the ball away so many times. I was like,
Yeah,
what's going on?
McTominay, yeah.
I couldn't just hit the ball to feet.
Declan Rice.
It's just a long pass. Wow,
Declan Rice.
he's a baller.
Declan Rice, baller. Big baller.
Big baller. Yes! He's a baller for his level. He's a baller for his level. That's what I'm saying. When he steps to a certain level, you know.
Well, he stepped up to England. He done well at England,
Did they win? I don't think they won it.
but he done well.
Okay.
Not everyone
I didn't
can
check
win,
it.
innit?
It was awful in that final. Awful.
You played well in that final.
It was awful in that final.
I don't remember. He played well in the final for England, or even for anybody.
Shaw
Or
played
Chiesa played well. Who else played well?
Shaw played well.
Or because Shaw got a goal. What else did he do?
Stones was alright.
Let's pluck names out for name, mate.
Stones was alright.
Yeah, Maguire was
Maguire was
alright.
okay, like, they were
Maguire was
decent.
alright.
I
Good
can tell you
players,
guys that was stank. Mount stank. Absolutely was awful. Sterling, awful. Kane, awful. Phillips was good.
Okay.
Anyway, what episode is this?
58.
58. I don't know what 58 signifies. Is there any special number with 58? There's no special.
2 away from 60, bro.
2 away from 60. It's been a while.
Yeah.
We've been out here. Anyway, we want to introduce our guest. Rich, welcome to the show.
Ronaldo.
Thank you.
I've seen him play a couple times.
I've seen it.
Electric.
I'll say this, one of the hardest guys I've probably arguably the hardest guy I've ever come across one-on-one defending. Oof, hard, very hard. I would have played
to do that.
I would have players I faced, yeah, probably the hardest. That I can remember, at least.
The hardest.
Probably, I can remember. I mean, Christy these days is probably very hard as well. I think he plays for Mates or for another team. But yeah, on a consistent basis, definitely, which is right up there.
I love that, man.
We'll go both ways, very cheeky.
And then you can use both your feet.
Because most guys you come and then be like, okay, I'm analytical, so most guys be like, okay, cool, you don't like using your left, I'm gonna force it that way. You don't like using your right, I'm gonna force it that way. Which is, you can't really force it.
You do it both ways.
It's long still. It's long still. And if you get too close, spinning past, you get too far, just puts the top bins, Raji. It's long.
Got all of those things in your arsenal, bro. Got all those things in your arsenal.
He's gassing it a bit.
Hey, go look at our page, go look at the page.
Hey, bro, I
Look at the
believe it.
page.
I believe it.
He showed everything I'm talking about is there.
I believe you,
It's
bro.
there on 4K, go look at it, G.
Anyway, you know, to introduce the guest, you know, get you talking, get the vibe, just to know where you're at,
Yeah.
know where your knowledge is. We'll get some quick fire questions.
Yeah, of course.
First question: Ronaldo or Messi?
Ronaldo, come on.
So I can see that you're waiting for that. That's how you're
All
looking.
that, all that.
You're
come
looking at LeBron or Jordan.
on. LeBron.
City or Liverpool.
City.
Oh, interesting. Fury or AJ.
Fury.
Oh, I was gonna check who you're gonna say. Pep or Klopp.
Pep.
For this one, Salah or Benzema.
That's a tough one.
Why the heck are you bringing that guy in?
Nah, it's gotta be Benzema.
You're a Benzema guy. And first love, football, basketball, boxing.
Football.
Football's the first love. And that's where we're gonna go to first. And guess where we're starting? With the main event of the weekend. The Manchester Derby. No, it was a great game for me. I don't know about for you guys, but
It's a clinic.
what was your takeaways from that game?
I mean, yeah, it was a clinic. I mean, Man City, even though Liverpool beat them by more goals, but Man City, I think even Neville kind of preempted this, saying, it could be us 1-0 or it can be like Mayweather, we don't have a punch. Like, it's just total domination from start to finish. And that's how it turned out to be. I mean, boy, I think maybe United had one shot on target, something like that. I
They
mean,
had more shots on their own target than...
yeah, basically. I mean, they were just on the back foot. If you look, I looked at some stats, looked at the average position of their team, they were just penned in their box, penned in their half. They were just, they were just taken apart. They were taken to task, they were taken to school. City, I mean, obviously they lost against Palace with the red card and that, so they were proper amped. You know, they didn't want to obviously lose back to back. And they just tore United apart. You know, it's like death by 1,000 cuts. That's what I say.
That's it. That's it really. How about you, Rich? What did you...
Yeah, the game, it was like a perfect Manchester derby because the way that I see it is that United came off the back of two decent results. That the result at Atalanta and then the result at Spurs, and they were growing in confidence, and City just took it to another level. Like, they're not the same as these opponents. They ripped them to shreds, and the methodical way in which they played, it was too much. It was too much for United. It's too much for Solskjaer. Too much for the team in general. And like, that's what you want to see as like a neutral going into that game. Because let me be honest, I hate United. Let me be honest, I hate United.
More than Chelsea.
More than Chelsea. More than any other team but Spurs. Basically, you can guess who I support.
Oh yeah.
So
I'm saying like I hate Chelsea and I'm Man United. I hate them more than Spurs. I believe. I don't
Really?
care for Spurs. I don't care for Spurs at all, man. Spurs have been nothing club for how long? I
But
don't
they
care for-
chat a lot of crap.
Yeah, but I don't even listen.
But the thing
That's
is
how I
that
don't
there's
care.
only one guy I can recall that's actually a Spurs fan that I know. And he used to some guy from my secondary school, but I didn't tweet him.
One of my best friends is a Spurs fan.
Who's that?
King.
Oh.
And he goes to the games and I just, even when he bats it, I don't even care. I don't care for Spurs. We can do nothing. The only thing that scared me was that Champions League final. That's a scary day.
That was
Oh,
scary.
Oh, that's a scary day.
They won,
Praying
man.
the whole week.
Because if they won that, boy,
Yeah.
that could have changed the
Shout out
side.
Tom Parker, that was the guy from secondary school. The only guy I can remember supporting Spurs.
Aye, but what I saw from Man City was they are cut above the rest. Bernardo Silva, hey, his emergence last year he was awful. I thought it was awful, but he's back to that kind of form he was in the Centurion season. That season when KDB wasn't there, I think it's been exceptional.
It's a good point you made. KDB wasn't there. I think it's hard for Bernardo to play to his best when KDB is performing to his best.
But KDB now, he's just out of form. Kind of looks off the pace a little bit at the moment.
He's gone through a
KDB.
lot of injuries.
Yeah,
And he's getting older.
it's getting
So
older.
it's going to take longer for him to recover.
But he's getting out. You see with his players, they're just outsigning him. You got Silva looks good. Gundogan, he's been for the last 2 seasons been resurgent. The kind of player he is. Foden.
Wasn't Gundogan one of the guys you were criticising?
Yeah, I did criticize Gundogan, and he wasn't good. He's only been good for like 2 seasons.
I mean,
It wasn't good. He wasn't good before that.
It was good before, just that he's taken on more of a onus of like impacting games per se.
Yeah, with goals,
Can you,
assists.
can you remember what Gundogan was doing in his first 2 seasons at Man City? Do you remember anything he did?
He was a good player.
I don't think he was that good.
This
They was
was
dropping him.
No, it was a good player. This wasn't, like I said, that impactful in terms of the easy to view things like the goals and assists. But as a midfielder, there's so many things you can do that can impact a game.
I can.
That's what I would
credit that.
say.
Rodri's been good, and Rodri doesn't score goals, and like Rodri keeps the game moving. He moves the ball. We know how important it is to Man City. I didn't see Gundogan have that impact until last season, where he was actually driving. He was breaking up play. He was box to box basically. I didn't see that in the first 2 seasons.
He wasn't that good, of course, but he was still good. Like,
Yeah, he was a good player. Obviously, he played for Man City. That idea, Man City for midfielders, they always buy quality in that position. If you're gonna play a midfield for Man City, you have to be technically proficient. So I'm not gonna say Gundogan is not. Really, basically, Man City all over the pitch. They've got technically great ballers. The worst technical player is Walker. That's basically the only time they lose the ball when they gets to Walker's feet. And Walker is so important to that team as well. Basically,
the recovery runs that Walker makes.
his insurance policy.
Exactly, that's exactly what
I was even listening today. I was listening to another pod, and they were saying that Walker might be the second best fullback in the league, behind Cancelo. That's what they were saying. I don't know where you'd rank your fullbacks.
Really? That's what they're saying. What about Trent? What about Robertson? What about the...
I think Robertson this season not been good. Not been good enough.
He's good, okay. I think overall, I think Robertson's the best. Overall, like not just this season.
Cancelo.
Not now. Not the last few years, 3-4 years.
Over the last.
I think Robertson's the best.
Most consistent.
Yeah,
for
Most
sure.
consistent.
But right now, it's Cancelo, in my opinion. Trent is getting back. I still need him to take his defensive side of things more
At
seriously.
fault for the West Ham goal, for the second goal was at fault. Was it? He should have trapped for now. He saw him the whole way.
Well, there you go.
He saw him the whole way.
Reece James, I like Reece James a lot, man. I really do.
Really? You've got him in the conversation.
I like Reece because
Reece James is there basically.
I like him a lot because he doesn't really have any real weaknesses, and his delivery is very good, and his shots very good, and he's strong, and he can. Remember he shut down Sterling.
Yeah.
I mean, boy, and they told, I can't remember who it was. They made a good point saying that eventually he could end up playing the right centre back role in the free, like how Walker does.
I think he's got the strength and he's got the football know-how. James is more of a footballer than Arnold, I would say.
Really?
I think James can play more positions than Trent can play.
Oh, but does that make him really more of a footballer?
I think he's proficient in more areas of the game than Trent is.
I'd agree with
He's
you
more
there.
complete, yeah.
He's
But
more complete.
Trent has a special power or
Yeah,
a special
Trent has
skill
a
that's
special
more
skill, special
beyond
power.
James. Do you get what I mean?
But what, yeah, it's true. But what I would say, like in terms of like Trent's delivering, be able to.
But you can only play technically you can only play right back.
That's the only position we've seen him play at this level, though.
He used to play midfield. Didn't
He
he?
used to play midfield.
I think Southgate tried to play him in midfield, and at that point he just said, "I
Yeah.
have to put James in there."
Yeah.
So
no.
I don't know if he can
Agreed.
play midfield because you see the game differently from in the midfield to right back. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
In right back technically in football now is the position with the most space.
Yeah.
You got the most time, you got the most space to make decisions. In midfield, it changes. The vision of the game changes. Obviously, Trent has the passing skill where he can ping the ball, cross field
On the
passes,
sixpence.
on the sixpence, and his passing ability is amazing. But the game changes. The way you see the game changes,
Yeah, less time on the ball.
and your responsibilities will change as well. So I don't know if you want to play Trent in the season.
Yeah, I think Trent has the abilities from what we've seen at right back to play there. But the only thing is that you have a little bit of like there's a match know-how and there's like a match fitness, and obviously when you've been playing right back for your club all this time, Southgate puts him into centre mid or the right of a free, I think it was in that game.
Yeah.
Then it's going to be a bit different. Like you're not used to the setup, you're not used to it.
Yeah.
I think if Trent was playing there week in, week out, he'd be picking those passes, be picking the same balls, be picking up in areas and spraying passes the same way he does at right back. But it's a difficult one.
Do you think? I think my issue with Trent is that he can pick those passes, but the game's a bit more compact. I don't know if Trent can deal with that kind of physicality over and over again, because in one-on-ones he's not good.
Yeah, agreed.
So once you lose the ball, and in midfield you lose the ball often, he will have to be in a very ball-dominant team. And the way Liverpool play, Trent doesn't even have the intensity to play in the midfield for Liverpool.
I agree with
for Liverpool.
No, not this one time. No.
Yeah. So unless he picks it up, he's there, does the running, then he can fit into the midfield spot. But I think it will take it will take over a season. It will take a long time.
It'll take some time.
Over it. Maybe when he matures as a player. He's 22 years old.
Yeah, he's still a young player.
Very young. So how do you guys rank them? Trent, Cancelo, James.
Right now, I think Cancelo's just
Right now, how do you guys rank them?
cut above those three. But then I think it's quite tight between Walker.
Leave Walker out for now. Just Trent, James, and Cancelo. That's the
I would say Cancelo, James, Trent.
I thought James and Trent are interchangeable.
I don't think it's like there's a massive gap.
Yeah.
So, the way I said it, by the end of the season, Trent could be first and Cancelo could be last.
Yeah,
Like, it's really close.
The thing is with all of that, it can change. You know.
But overall, I feel
Your boy Tierney is fallen completely out of this.
this is right backs, bro.
Oh, right backs.
And Tierney, your boy as well.
Tierney's not. I've not been a big fan. I think he always gets injured.
Boys,
Too many injuries.
Tavares is doing trying to do some good stuff. I don't mind, innit? You know what I mean? So it's smart for us. Actually made a somewhat smart signing for once, you know. But that's what I leave that for there. But those three, I don't know, man. Like I said, it's very interchangeable. I thought James. I don't know, that guy. He's just so complete compared to the rest, and obviously as he gets older and gets more experience. When I see a guy that doesn't really have weaknesses, it's very scary. And then Cancelo's just like so intelligent, so technically good. He doesn't really seem to have weaknesses. Trent, there's a glaring weakness. Like teams know, you know, out of Liverpool's defense, okay, Robertson's solid, Van Dijk's solid, Matip's kind of solid on his day, and maybe Konate will end up replacing Matip, but Trent will like, cool, he's the weakness. Shift it to the left, one-on-ones. Go there. If the left wing is not getting joy, switch it. Switch flanks. Go have a go.
There used to be a time when he used to drop Trent. I think he used to play Gomez right back. Before that time, and then I maybe over time it's just like, alright, Trent is so good. He offers you a goal, and the thing is with Trent, he can be switched on. It's just not 100% of the time. Do you get what I mean? Like I've seen him do good defensive actions, like I'm gonna marshal you down the line and then I'm gonna stop the crossing, but it's not consistent enough for me. And I don't think it's anticipation as well. Like he doesn't have, like as a defender, you just need to be aware that bad things can happen.
Yeah.
And he doesn't have that kind of attention span to do. Like Wan-Bissaka doesn't have it, but because his physical abilities are they're just immense that he can recover for it.
Well, Wan-Bissaka is, when it comes to one-on-one defending, he's switched on.
He switched on one-on-one, but when it's like a defensive action, when it's a movement or an interchange, he's not alert. And Man United fans hate him. They actually hate Wan-Bissaka. They hate him. He was awful in that game.
I think Trent, one-on-one defending is a liability. I would say there's a fullback, especially for the top tier attacking teams. If you can, obviously they want you these days to bring stuff going forward, but defensively, if you can just be palatable one-on-one, then you'll be very useful. Yeah. But if you're one-on-one, if you're a liability, it's long because in the big games. Like for example, if guys like Mbappe, Neymar, and who else? Mane running at Trent, obviously Mane plays for his team, but other left wingers, top left wingers are
Vinicius
Sane,
last time
Gnabry.
Yeah, Vinicius.
If they play Bayern again, don't be surprised if Gnabry switches to the left flank and Sane. They all go to that side, but like, let's have a go. Like, you know in basketball they say the pick and roll.
Yeah,
like
go,
come. Okay, I don't want this screen. Come, I want this guy. You gotta come. You gotta defend this pick and roll. You gotta defend me in this pick and roll.
That's how Man City always attack through Trent's side.
Yeah.
Like all the time they go through them. Whenever they see him, they just go through that side.
Yeah, even a couple years ago when City had Sane, it was always Sane against Trent, and he would cook him.
It's tough for Trent out there. Like talk about right backs. Do you think there's any up and comers that could get into the discussion? Like or people that you're impressed with?
Livermento's had a good start. Seems kind of
very good start.
Seems good. Seems like it has a lot of potential.
I think Lamptey. People talk about Lamptey a lot. I think it's got a lot of the physical skills are very good. He can deliver a good pass. I think those two are quite good right backs.
Chelsea production line there.
Yeah, Chelsea.
Yeah, flourishing.
Chelsea get guys like in the youth team that go straight into the first team. That boy Gallagher is just.
Yeah, Gallagher as well.
I had to bring him as my FPL. The guy's doing too much.
The guy is so good. Like, the fact is, if Gallagher was an Arsenal player, we'll talk about him in the same way we talk about Smith Rowe or Saka, basically.
He'll be starting,
And he's not even in the Chelsea squad.
Chelsea leaps the bounds above Arsenal.
It just is what it is. Like certain teams are like that, but even City got a lot of talent. That Palmer guy, they talk about him a lot. And I think that's the golfing talent between the top teams, even City to United. The golfing talent is just so much. Like City have so many centre backs that are better than Maguire. Maguire as their starting centre back. I would even take Stones over Maguire right now.
Yes.
Stones, Laporte, all of them are, but Man United got a lot of issues. Do you see Ollie's lasting to Christmas?
Okay, he's got through Liverpool, he's got through Man City. They're the rivals. If he takes a beating to us in Chelsea, he could be techie. Because if we lose to us in Chelsea, I can see potentially, especially if we lose bad, both guys, potentially his boys, they won't have even leg to stand on to protect him in the media.
Yeah, 100%.
And it could be techie. And then Zidane's there. I mean,
Zidane doesn't want it.
They could try and make a few phone calls. I mean, shit, you know. About to I would say the plan is for him to last the whole season. United don't really sack managers during the season, so always seems to pull a cat out of the bag. Especially now you got Ronaldo. You know, the likelihood of that happening is even more. So I think he probably will last the season. Yeah.
I think he can lose to Chelsea because there's an expectation that he'll lose to Chelsea.
100%.
But I'm talking about losing bad.
Even if they lose, what? They've lost 5-0 to Liverpool. They could,
Yeah,
and they got
lost
killed.
what they
They got killed by
yeah.
that City loss was so depressing. It wasn't even like the way Chelsea are not only going to beat you 1-0 as well. Chelsea are not going to they're not going to give you 6. If they do, then that's alarming because that's not how Chelsea even play. Chelsea don't even normally score that many goals.
If Lukaku comes back, he might be motivated to do a Mazza. Drop 3 on United's head.
The issue is they lose to Arsenal, and convincingly, that is a big problem because we're basically on the same level. We're both fighting for top 4 at this moment of time, and Arsenal, we've got confidence. We're coming up, but you would say that Man United have a better squad. They've got better talented players. Yeah. So for them to lose to Arsenal, that'll be worrying. To lose to Watford as well, which is the next game, that would be
a disaster.
That would be a disaster. Absolute disaster for them. He's just lucky that he's through in the Champions League, basically. So
I wouldn't even count the chickens on that one still. Because
hey,
Villarreal, what's it, away?
Yeah, Villarreal. They got Villarreal away and Young Boys.
We'll lose that Villarreal game. Who knows that it's a bit. But the last game against Young Boys, it's dicey. Exactly, it's dicey.
Ronaldo not playing no Europa League.
Ronaldo don't play in Europe.
He's not playing no Europa League.
The Europa League,
Messi can play Europa League.
Imagine.
You're lucky that he beat Leipzig. But yeah, I think Ollie was last this season. But I think it's more. It's not got anything to do with on the board. I think Woodward is leaving in the middle of the season, and the reports are he doesn't want his last action to sack Ollie. And the guy he brought in is one of his boys. They went to uni together. That's going to be the new CEO.
Who went to him and Woodward?
Well, Woodward, the next person that's going to take the CEO job.
So Woodward and the new person went to uni together.
It's
all about networking, guys.
So they're boys. And
what you know is who you know.
He doesn't want his first action to be to sack Ollie as well. So it's kind of tight at boardroom level.
It's definitely tight, but do you actually think Ollie deserves to be sacked? Because I always have this conversation with like all of my Manchester United friends. And for me, I don't think Ollie deserves to be sacked for what he's done over this period when he's been manager. There's no time when he should have been sacked. There's no time.
Do you think so? I think there's so many. I think the thing about Ollie and the thing about your club, about when you sack a manager, is what your expectations are. It's not the fans' expectations. It's about meeting your key KPIs at work. They say at work, it's like, okay.
For the people that don't understand, can you please explain what KPIs
are? Your key performance indicator. It's like, what do you say are your goals at the beginning of the season? The goals for Ollie have been top 4, and challenging Europe. Okay, top 4, he's achieved that. Yeah, but now he's not on track to achieve that top 4. That's something that he was guaranteed in the past. Like the performances now have not been good enough to say, oh, Ollie can get you top 4.
Yeah.
So that's something that's a worry. Champions League last year, did he get out of the group?
Nope.
No.
Didn't get out of the group. So these are kind of increasing like.
Well, the season before he beat PSG.
And what was Man United? Yeah, he beat PSG. What was Man United saying before the beginning of the season? When people saying they were title challengers.
Yeah, title challengers.
And look how
he
far.
signed Ronaldo.
Yeah, he signed Ronaldo. Even before Ronaldo, guys were saying.
Yeah, Varane, Sancho. Yeah.
The Varane signing was supposed to be big before the season. Guys were saying Man United They got all the tools to challenge in this title. It was like it's a full horse race. There's so much. And look at them now.
Yeah.
So that's where I say Ollie has to get. Ollie's job is in jeopardy because you're not meeting expectations.
Yeah. No, 100% now, I think he should definitely be under pressure. But in this period before it, like in these years that have gone by, like where he's got them into the top four, the first full season that he had, next season finished second, next season, this season, like he's not doing as well. When he signed Ronaldo, maybe out of his own control because he had to, couldn't let him go City. So I feel he deserves the whole season. That's me.
Do you think so? Well, we're saying it as not Man United fans. Man United fans haven't got time for this.
Yeah, I'm saying it as not a Man United fan, but still, I'm not on, like, it's not like I want United to... I want United to fail. Let me don't get me wrong. But just objectively, I just feel like Ollie deserves a full season, have a crack at it. You've made your signings. You've got the man that you wanted, Sancho, for 70 million, that you've been chasing for 2 summers.
That was the Sancho signing made no sense.
It makes no sense with the Ronaldo
It
signing.
made sense before Ronaldo.
Do you think so? Sancho is a combination player.
I think it made sense before Ronaldo. Ronaldo's my favourite player as well.
Do you think the thing is, this is another thing about Sancho. Does he have a style of play?
Who, Ollie?
Yeah.
There's no philosophy. That's the main thing.
There's no real
so there's no
philosophy.
buy-in. There's no buy-in. He has no.
Well, actually, that's the philosophy. Philosophy is counter-attack.
Okay. Well, he can't do that now because he's got Ronaldo.
Yeah, he can't be.
He can't counter-attack.
Counter-attack on vibes.
He used to counter-attack on vibes and that used to work because guys always fall into the same plan, especially in big games. You attack Man United and then all of a sudden Rashford and Greenwood back go.
Yeah.
We do love a counter-punch.
But because he's lost that counter, because he lost that counter, he can't do the counter. Now he has to implement a whole new philosophy, something that he's not adapted to.
Yeah,
he's not adapted to.
Like, to show he has different strings to his bow.
He doesn't have this,
which elite managers have, and obviously Ollie, in my opinion, is not an elite manager. His credentials don't point to that. Hopefully, in his case, hopefully he can show these things, or develop these things. But he doesn't, in my opinion, doesn't have those. Right now, yeah, he's really under the cosh. He's really under the fire. But unless a viable replacement becomes available, I don't think they'll sack him before the season's ended.
The replacement was Conte.
But he's gone now.
He's gone
Do
now.
you think that's a United replacement? That's
He's gonna be
United
temporary.
kind of
He's
guy.
volatile.
It's gonna be.
Yeah.
For what Man United want, if you want instant success, you just take the 2 years of Conte, then you get the next guy. I think Man United will end up with either Rodgers or Potter.
Oh, Rodgers. United fans will, they'll take him out of the ground before he even manages them. Liverpool guy. Surely.
Right now, they will take Rodgers because they believe. Well, I don't think Rodgers has poor talent ID. It's just been masked because Leicester have really good talent ID. But Rodgers as a manager has attacking football like a philosophy, and he's shown with Leicester. Leicester is like a stepping stone club, and he's done very well there. So that's why we'll make him a front runner. Potter plays good football, press football, allows his players to be expressive. They're always good on the ball. And that's something that Man United probably want. But yeah, there's not many other candidates. If you want to go British, that's the 2. Who else? Well, you're going to go and get Ten Hag? Why would Ten Hag leave Ajax to go and manage Man United? Except for the bag.
Yeah, the bag. The
glory.
bag talks. The bag talks stuff.
The glory, the bag, the resources, you know. You say Zidane doesn't want it.
Yeah, don't put Zidane doesn't want it.
Can Zidane speak English?
I'm sure I don't know. It will learn.
Vavoom.
Zidane.
He's a saucy guy.
It's a tough play. It's like you can't come.
But he's a great player. Great
Well,
player.
Zidane, like.
Zidane, and he's got 3 Champions League. He's got equity.
As long
He's
as
got equity. Yeah.
if Ronaldo's still there as well, I mean, he'll know what Zidane's done for him. I mean, yeah, Zidane at the end of the day, like, he can just stand there in the middle of the room, but like, and the guys just be all in all, apart from Ronaldo. But Ronaldo was still respected because he's helped him a lot.
Tommy and Fred will never ever play under Zidane. Never ever in a million years. Zidane will never play those guys.
McFred
Will never play. That's the worst combo in the league.
like we said in one of the episodes that we before. I mean, it's funny because, or maybe behind the scenes, Fred was actually before he came was actually seen as a very good player.
It was a cam. It was a CM. It was like an 8. He
very
was
good
never a
player.
CDM.
Yeah, number 6, but was seen as a very good player. Like, City wanted him.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? So, and I used to rate him highly, but
When I used to see him for Shakhtar, I was like, oh, this Fred guy, like, he can, like, he's good on the ball. Like, it's not an issue.
Shakhtar had borders. Him, they had Alex Teixeira.
Yeah. And for Fernandinho,
Douglas
though,
Costa.
they had guys.
Yeah.
See, it seems like only Fernandinho's the only one that's really been consistent. I mean, Douglas Costa's had flashes. Alex Teixeira, I don't know where he's at
He's
now.
nice guy. He'll probably went and chased the bag in Russia or something.
Something
I
like
think
that.
he went China.
Yeah, I mean, he might be right actually. They had like Dentino. They had, because I remember Full Manager. Yeah, you buy those boys, they could turn you into a real powerhouse. They had talent there. The Brazilians, because I don't think they have strict rules on like foreign players.
Yeah, that's Bernard.
But yeah, Bernard. But yeah, what's
Even
up to him?
Willian at the time.
Oh, Willian as well.
Okay, maybe Willian and Fernandinho, but Fernandinho's the only one that's been a thoroughbred player from that team that's been consistent.
Fred went to the wrong system. Man United at one point, this transfer system, their transfer policy was, if Man City are linked, I'm gonna just buy the guy. It was just dumb. They weren't buying players to fit their system. They need to, obviously, over recent years, their squad has got a lot better, but purely because some of their homegrown talent has hit, and then they just spent money on top end players. So you at one point you become too big.
Yeah.
You buy too many players that you to feel like Rashford and Greenwood. They're homegrown. That's just super talents. You're just lucky to have them at the same time.
Yeah.
Bruno, good signing, works in the Premier League. Not my cup of tea player.
Why is he not your cup of tea?
Too hit and miss. Doesn't retain the ball enough. I just don't really like him as a cam.
Aesthetically pleasing football.
He's not.
Clean.
He's not. He doesn't sustain attacks. He's just like, it's just like,
Inshallah.
do you know what's gonna happen?
Swing the ball in.
Swing the ball out in past the Ronaldo. That's his thing. That's his thing. I'm not really a guy like that for him. Just
It's crazy because since he left, when he came from Sport, Sport have won like I think back-to-back league titles. They've been winners.
They won the league title.
Man United gave him the license to the whole thing. And it's just is what it is. But anyway, stop talking about teams that aren't going to win this title.